My Secret Crush, written by Elizabeth Griffin, narrated by Elizabeth Griffin. This is a romantic novella, part 1. Please let him notice me, I mumble to myself as I attempt to walk past the group of surgeons gathered around the front elevator doors of the surgical floor. He had to see me this time. My hair was professionally washed and styled. My makeup was applied just the way the cosmetic saleswoman had suggested. The earth tone reds and browns highlighted my subtle beauty, my sparkling eyes. I wasn't the type of woman a man noticed at first glance. That was not the way my looks worked. No, my physical appeal, my aesthetics were inclined to surprise, even startle the opposite sex who weren't expecting it. That was always a quiet boost to my developing ego. My nails were trimmed and neat. My hands shook slightly from the anxiousness I felt. I wanted to still the forceful current of electrical excitement that sparked and fired through my body as I glanced briefly at the face of one man in particular, Dr. Jackson Murphy. My eyes swept across his face. He was a surgical god, a majestic, vivid creation of a holy power which had fashioned him into flesh and bone and placed him amongst mortals. Okay, so maybe that was a slight exaggeration, but Jackson Murphy was the closest thing to perfection my eyes had seen. He was gorgeous. He was bronze. He was an American wonder. I adored him. I would have worshipped him if it wasn't against my religion. I fantasized about the man often and in the most unusual situations. I'd imagine things, lots of things, sweet things, innocent things, virgin like things. For example, I would envision our first actual meeting, the time when he'd take note of the quiet, almost invisible laboratory clerk who seldom spoke above a whisper and observed everything. I think of how he'd notice me as I walked the halls of the hospital, how our eyes would suddenly meet and lock, how I'd come to his rescue when he needed it. Stop daydreaming, I giggled quietly. Just walk past him and do not stare. I cast my eyes downward and then straight ahead. I was coy, but I'd learned to disguise my shyness with a controlled expression and a proud walk. Now, if I could just not stumble or trip over my own feet, I hadn't mastered the art of balanced movement without the aid of my contact lenses, which I had accidentally dropped on the bathroom floor this morning. My clumsy feet had shredded and destroyed one lens, and the other contact was useless. I tried wearing it, but found I couldn't function at all. Everything I looked at or touched was distorted, unbalanced. So I gave up and put the lens away. But I was not going to let one mishap, one mistake, ruin my plans for New Year's Eve. No, I wouldn't. I couldn't. I had spent too much time and saved all of the extra money I had earned working my two part-time jobs in order to complete my fashion makeover, which started today. The astonishing, cool surgeon was going to take note this time. He was about to see another side of me. That was why I refused to wear the Coca-Cola bottle glasses that rested in the bottom of my handbag, which would have provided temporary vision. No, I was not going to be that girl. I was not going to be the stereotypical chick with a geeky persona and nerd status. No, those torturous high school days were over. However, with very little visual perception, I was the most awkward moving creature on this floor when it came to walking. I faltered, I staggered, I self corrected, all in a matter of seconds. Why did I have to damage my lenses? Why was I too vain, too stubborn to wear the glasses in my bag? I glanced quickly over my shoulder and I got my answer. Because he was so handsome and smart, I couldn't let him see the real me. Walk on, girl, I ordered mentally. It is never wise to look at an American god, a medical phenomena. Dr. Jackson Murphy was a part of the cardiology team that went from patient room to patient room early in the morning. He and his fellow surgeons checked on the conditions of their preoperative and postoperative cases. This was usually the time that I walked the distance of the 7th floor Maple building. I came up with the daily routine a month ago when I realized that the only opportunity I get to see the gorgeous black doctor was by walking the halls of the surgical floor at a ridiculously early hour. But love was blind, and so was I. As I tried to move casually down the hallway, I heard my heels announcing to the entire floor my every step. The bottom flare of my pleated skirt seemed to smack against its folds in a clapping sound. Was it my imagination, or did several heads lift in response to the loud noise? I raised my head even higher, and as I did so, I realized that I'd forgotten to do something today. I tried to remember exactly what it was. The white coats were a beacon, a visual sign, a blatant reminder that I neglected to do a very important task this morning. As I tried to concentrate to think, I immediately realized what it was. This concludes part 1 of My Secret Crush. Stay tuned for part 2.